Hello guys, welcome back. Some different stuff happened. Instead of having like a luau, having like a party for the girls. Long story short, I was going up to take some boxes to my friend because she's doing charity work of giving to children that don't have anything, and they do these shoebox things. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give you shoe boxes, I don't mind. So I took some shoe boxes up to her, and as I'm coming up to the Dairy Queen, there's this poor animal on the road. Poor groundhog. She'd almost made it off the road. Poor thing. And so I moved her. I ended up moving her, and I told them they were okay, and they were just sad she got hit too. And like Loki's like close to tears. Usually, if he's in a good mood, he's making really bad puns because it's usually rabbit, so it's some bunny didn't make it, and he's usually laughing hysterically because he is death and everything else too. But today he was just like, he's been so volatile lately. He was just crying buckets. And Inari was really upset too, and I'm like, technically you're both fox gods, but I didn't want to push point. And they're just volatile. And then one of you mentioned, about, he's connected to volcanoes, and Inari probably is too, because the funny thing is we did research on Madame Pele. We know a lot about her, but we wanted to know more. So we were looking for contemporary reactions to, the lava flow, and they talked about, how many times she can shift her appearance, how she's basically a shapeshifter, and she likes her bit of mischief, she does. And she often has a little white dog, and that's all Nari needed to hear, that, she's this shape-shifting goddess that can have a white dog, because he heard fox. He heard fox. He's pretty sure it's a fox. It looks like a dog, but it's a fox. And he's whining because she's a shapeshifter. Can we have her? Can she live with us? Can we have her? I'm like, she's always welcome in this house. She's been welcome in this house for years, but Madame Pele comes and goes. But I said, okay, you try. So we set up incense for her and a candle and everything, and he's trying. He wants her to move in permanently. He's like, please, please, because it would give him and Loki someone that I think would balance them more if they're here. Thor tries, and Thor finally loses even Thor's patience, and Thor's like, I have things to do. I mean, Thor would come in an emergency, and Thor comes when I really need him, but with the two of them trying to get settled with each other, and Loki kind of seems to incite mischief in Inari, and Inari kind of seems to incite mischief with them. Sometimes it takes mischief to control mischief, and since she does have that mischievous side, she definitely has been known for years to have a sense of humor. I think they kind of wanted that. They wanted a mommy figure to come in and make sure they behave, because, I could theoretically rather be everything to them, but, it's better if they have a mom figure come in and say, okay, you've been naughty foxes, or whatever form they were in at the time, and say that's all well and good, but now you have to behave a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. And so they both feel very calm because, Mommy Pele is here, and Mommy Pele is going to watch over them because they're going to be her babies, and it doesn't matter if they're Hawaiian gods or not, they're going to be her babies. Because that's another culture with thousands of god. Like Japan has thousands of kami, and they have thousands of god in Hawaiian culture. And, we may have had thousands of god in Germany and everywhere else. We don't know yet. We just know the ones that were left to us. Because they said, for Germany, Scandinavia, and all that, they made everything out of this wood because they had this idea that it didn't have to be permanent. So tons of it was just lost over time. Like if you watch enough about the Fushimi Inari shrine, the reason why they actually use the vivid red paint is because it preserves the wood. But even with that vivid red paint, the wood in the humid climate still gets destroyed and weathered and beaten down and everything. It has to be continually replaced and maintained. And if you pay for a gate, you also have to pay for the maintenance. You can't just expect that the shrine will then pour all this money into maintaining the gate. You have to be the ones to pay for that, and sometimes you have to be the ones coming and maintain it, because they have enough to do maintaining the shrine. They don't also have time to go, paint gates and everything. So it's been interesting, and they've been very happy to have her. And we were reading about how, some islanders are rightfully frustrated because, their culture was destroyed, and they feel that the Pele presented to most people on the outside is not the Madame Pele that they know as their actual goddess. They think this male fantasy, to put it simply, was portrayed to outsiders, and they're getting a lot of men coming to the island to move to the island because they're getting this erotic fantasy, and they weren't happy about that. But the only thing I can say is, she can have patience, but if you push her too far, she will kill you. So, if these men are bothering her, she's Pele. I've worked with her enough. I know her. I'm like, if these men really get on her last nerve, she'll either ignore them or kill them. It's one of the two. She's good at killing people. I mean, she's not, a terrible death god. She does have a death aspect, but she also has a life aspect too, and she has this wonderful history with her sisters. And maybe one of her sisters sent her to get the sister's husband, and maybe, she thought he was really cute, and maybe she had an affair with him, and maybe the sister was chasing her all over the islands trying to drown her. Maybe that's the reason the ocean and the volcanoes don't get along too well, but yeah. She's a very vibrant goddess, and, in the end, the sisters made up. She was like, you know what, I don't want them anyways, you can have them. And then, like, depending on the version, there's like a ton of versions of the story. In some versions, the sister's younger or older. Some versions, she ends up with a guy she likes more. Some versions, Pele ends up with a guy she likes more, but, they're goddesses. They go and do what they do. So, hope you guys like that, because it also reminds me of, there's a Pearl dragon goddess in Pearl Harbor that is recognized as a goddess in Pearl Harbor. And every time I think of Madame Pele, I think of her, because some people say that originally the goddesses of the island were dragon gods and goddesses. So that's interesting to think about too, because it would explain, the beautiful temperament and the association with the winds and storms and everything. Right now, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what Madame Pele is, because you have so many articles coming out, and sometimes you're not sure, are they just using associations of every goddess and handing them to Pele, or were these things that Pele could do, or what they were. But yeah, I say Pele does what Pele wants to do. She's a force of nature. She definitely is. And right now she's creating. She's happily creating, and the boys are happy to have her here. And they're being very sweet. They're not playing any of their tricks, which won't last long. But yeah, they're definitely happy to have her here. I think they needed more family. I think that's why Loki's been a bit whiny and fussy lately. He can get whiny and fussy when he wants his, more family near him. And he won't just come out and tell it to me. I'm supposed to read his mind, because that's the agreement he made with me when I was asleep or something. And he's like, you're supposed to know. How can I know if you don't tell me? You don't love me anymore. Oh God, Loki. But he's happy now. So they've got their sister in, and like her sisters are here, and there's like a whole group of gods and goddesses. Like it says, like 3,000, 5,000, something like that. That somebody mentioned a number, but it just means many, 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 many. Just like the number of kami means many, 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 many. And they're all good. They're all serene. But yeah, Madame Pele's creating right now. The boys are calm, because I think they were missing their sister. It's just she comes and goes. I don't have any control for like when she stays, but they're trying to be good little boys now and have her stay. And I think they got a little shook up seeing that little groundhog, because I know they saw the groundhog and they thought, oh my God, she's getting hit. And it wasn't that at all. It wasn't like a warning. It wasn't like Lasanto, sacrificed the groundhog as a warning. It's just, that's a bad, dangerous road. And I was trying to comfort Loki, and I said, I'm a human, and I've got hit twice in this town already. And I said, I know better, and I know to look for everything I do. And I said, sometimes, humans they're driving these dangerous death machines, and they don't watch where they're going, and they really don't care. And I said, that's how people get hit, and that's how animals get hit. So, but they're okay. They're calmed down now. I'm inside. I think they're going to keep me inside for a couple of days. It feels like a big storm's coming, so I hope my friend got her boxes. But yeah, all the stuff you're seeing in the news lately, all the natural disasters, one, I think the news just likes to, focus on that, because that gets them more views, more clicks, and more ad revenue. And two, the world kind of goes in cycles sometimes. Like, you'll have a lot of volcanoes going off at once and a lot of wildfires at once. a lot of droughts at once and a lot of floods at once, and a lot of it I think has to do with the media, but it's also, you know, it's climate change and it's cycles, and sometimes climate change affects the cycles and so forth and so on. But it's not God's judgment. That's the point I wanted to make. It's not God's judgment. It's not Pele saying you're bad people and I'm going to kill you all. It's not that. It's not that Judeo-Christian concept of I'm saying a natural disaster because I hate you and I'm really mad. No, they would just show up in person and tell you, especially Pele. She would have just showed up in person, strolled into a newsroom and said, you're all really bad and I'm gonna punish you. No, she gave people actually plenty of time to move out of the way as she usually does. So she's not mad, she's not punishing people. Some people are free to disagree, you know, we all come to our own beliefs, but from what I'm seeing, she's not mad. It's something that was bound to happen in the cycle of a volcano's life. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.